Alrighty, good people. It's another day in the neighborhood. Another day in the neighborhood. Come on into the room. Be coachable, teachable, trainable. Post your city and state for catching this information on today. My name is BrandMaster Martina Britt Yelverton, and I am your cash flow queen and your brand master and coach for this session. What's going on, Shawty Shine? I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. Excited to have you join the live on today. Watch me work Wednesday. I am truly trying to get myself set up and structured. You guys know I like to have my little bit of music playing in the background. And of course, I'm just hopping directly out of my coaching with my just launched coach, because it's some good that I am bringing to the community. And I'm so excited, but I'm trying to be calm because I don't want to, you know how you get excited about something and you put it all out there and then life be lifing. Okay. And so I am really excited about what I'm launching for the new Stuck or Struggling speaker. Okay. Got my music up. Smokey Robinson playing in the background. Hopefully it won't be too loud. You guys let me know whether or not you can hear me okay. Shawnee, can I be heard? Because my phone is taking forever to bring my backup here. You know, I like to pull my backup up so I can actually go and find myself and hear myself and make sure I can be heard as we get started on tonight with this information. And of course, I am here and I can't find nothing I need to find. See, I do that every time. All right, there we go. So as soon as this gets flipped over to where it needs to be, I will be able to hear myself. Okay, just heard myself, so I know you guys can hear me. And I came in on my backup so I can make sure I can see what you guys are seeing. Good deal, good deal, good deal. And I've got to figure out a better way to do this as far as the intro is concerned, because you guys know what I've determined that I need to now do is I actually take all this information. Hey there, Naletta. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I take this information that I share with you guys here on TikTok in short form, because you know when we're live, once the live is over, can't nobody see it, right? But what I like to do now is take the information, hey Kiva, and put it over on my long form content page, right? And I have a playlist specifically set up over there so that you guys can keep up with the lives, because not everybody's ready and available and settled at 6 p.m. smack in the middle of the week, right, Kiva? Keva, let me know which way to pronounce that properly. Not everybody is settled at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, in the middle of a week, to be able to get on a live. And so what I figured that I needed to now go and do was take this information from TikTok and put it over on my long form platform. That way you guys don't miss it if you aren't available at 6 o'clock. Plus you can subscribe to that channel. And now you can check the playlist out and you'll be able to check out every Watch Me Work Wednesday and every Setup Sunday. And you won't feel any kind of way if you happen to be missing on a Sunday afternoon, because I know most Sundays are for the family. People don't always like to be on TikTok, and plus 6 o'clock may not work for everybody, but right now it works for me. And so we're going to stick and stay with 6 o'clock. So I appreciate you guys. Hey there, Minnie. I appreciate you guys that check in, that pop in, that come in, that stick and stay, that actually engage with the live, and that actually appreciate the information that I'm sharing with you guys, even at 6 o'clock when that hour may not work for you guys. I appreciate you guys for showing up and being here. So as you guys know, at any point during my stream, if you happen to have questions, pop those into the comments. I will answer them as soon as I see them so that I can make sure that I make the best use of your time during this time, okay? And you guys know on this past Setup Sunday, we were discussing the AAA entrepreneur. That's the aligned entrepreneur, the accessible entrepreneur, and the accountable entrepreneur. Not in that order because I just mixed them up, but you get what I'm saying. We discussed that on this past Sunday, and I want to stay in the same mindset and make sure we continue along this blueprint for a successful brand so that you guys begin to understand the mindset, the foundational things that need to happen as you move the needle in your business. And so if you happen to miss that, it's okay. You can go over to that channel And you can look at the very first playlist that I have there for you, and you'll be able to catch up with what we launched on this past Sunday, this second month in 2026. And I'll ask the question again, how them resolutions working for y'all? So for me, I don't typically make the resolutions. So for me, they seem to be going just fine because I don't make resolutions. I set goals. So how those resolutions coming for y'all? Okay. We are in the second month of 2026. And I asked that question. Hey there, Julius. I asked that question because I'm not a resolutions person. I'm a goal setting person. I set goals. I achieve goals. I accomplish goals. Hey, resolutions is just another word for it. To me, that's a mindset, okay? But I like to ask this in a joking way. We're in the second month of 2026 already. So how the resolutions working for y'all? Okay? Drop those comments if you will, please. Hey there, Willie. So good to have you. So, as I said, we're going to continue along the journey that we are on with regards to the AAA Entrepreneur. And here in the second live of February, we laid out a blueprint that we started with on Sunday dealing with the successful brand, okay? And the AAA Entrepreneur is the acronym that we're working in, and that is to be aligned, to be accountable, and to be accessible, right? So now that your heads are in the right place, then I want you guys to now talk with us who are here in the room about the mind shift that you need to have, because most of us who are catching this may not be business owners. We may be the W-2 worker, and we've spent 20, 30, 40 years mastering that craft. What craft am I talking about? You held down the job. You've gone through the pandemic. You made it through the pandemic. You held on to the reins of your job. You have mastered how to hold it down. You've walked in that lane. But now it's time to enter your second act, to become a speaker, to start your personal brand, to get started in business, right? And you now realize, wait a minute, these rules are different over here. Is anybody else having that type of realization? On the job, I have a structure. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm supposed to do. I've done it for 10, 20, 30 years. But now you're talking about a whole different lane. We're talking about completely unstructured, flying by the seat of my pants, not sure what to do, right? We're talking about, this was a anchor, a ball and chain to some extent. But over here, we're flying by the seat of our pants. Like, we're trying to figure out so much. I was a great employee. I was consistent. I played by all the rules. Me and my cubicle, we got the dang thing done. But over here, this is a whole different mindset, right? You were good. You were consistent. You had the employee mindset. You understood what it was that you were supposed to be doing. But now we're talking about, wait a minute, I'm in control of everything. I have to know everything. Yes. Okay. That is what the entrepreneurial track looks like. Literally, the mind shift that you need to understand for my Gen X and my boomers is literally, now that we're over here, this is a whole different ball game, right? Over here, over there, you were taught to be loyal. You were taught to be consistent, keep that good old job. You were taught to do things a certain way. You had to ask for certain permissions over there. As an entrepreneur, my friends, those were liabilities. These are now assets. You are in control of the revenue and the money that you drive into your own home. You hold the reins. And that can be very scary for some people. That can be very unsettling for some people. That is a whole different, entire new mindset, right? So let's talk about the mind shift that you have to have as an entrepreneur as the first number one mind shift that we're going to talk about tonight. And I tell you all the time, grab your favorite pen, grab your favorite notepad right here and get ready to jot some notes down. If you currently do not have a favorite pen or a favorite pad, then definitely take the opportunity whenever you get a chance and go grab your favorite journal. Why do I say that? Because you want to consistently keep all of these good notes in one location, right? Now, I just gave you time to go and grab your favorite pen and your favorite pad to be able to write down these notes. The first mind shift that I need for you guys to understand is you're going from a specialist on that job where you knew exactly what you had to do every single day, and you are now moving to a generalist. As an employee, you had one job. You know that cliche, you had one job. You had one job, right? You had one job. But as an entrepreneur, you have all the jobs. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You have all the jobs. You're the CFO, you're the CEO, you're the marketing, you're the sales, you're the janitor, you're the accounting. All them jobs, they're all yours, right? This isn't about doing everything forever, however. This literally is about the beginning of your journey. Hey there, Clementine. This is about the beginning of your journey, and you must understand every part of your business initially. You must at least know that there are multifaceted and multi-layers to your brand. You at least have to know a little something about everything that is currently going on in your brand or in your business. Now, I didn't say you had to be an expert. I didn't say you have to be a guru. What I said was you at least have to have some type of working knowledge, Special K, of all the things that actually go on in and around your brand or your business, right? Hey there, Beyond Dotton. The reason you have to know these things is because at some point you will need to delegate. In order for you to scale, you will need to delegate. And if you didn't take the opportunity to understand the various levels or the various stops along this journey, you will be flailing by the seat of your pants. You will not be in control of your brand and business, and you definitely will not be able to scale it or grow it or sustain it or support it. You won't be able to do all of those things because you have no idea. So first thing first mind shift that you need to have is, as an entrepreneur, you had one job. On the job, you had one job. But as an entrepreneur, all of them jobs are yours. Okay? Not trying to be funny, not trying to make it, nice and cozy for you, because this is not for the weak, right? You have to understand some sense of working knowledge of all of those different areas in order for you to be able to eventually delegate, scale, grow, sustain, support all the other areas of your business. Okay. So the first action step that you need to jot down, beside you shifting from a specialist to a generalist in your entrepreneurial career, is for the next week, I want you to spend about 30 minutes every single day. That's for the math in the public. That's going to be 7 days at 30 minutes, 210 minutes, if you don't mind. Okay. Learn one non-expert. Remember, we just learned the basics, the foundation skill with regards to your business. Head over to YouTube University and learn something. Okay. Take the opportunity maybe to learn some basic accounting. A 30-minute video just to get a general idea, okay? Maybe read a blog on social media. Maybe just take the opportunity to understand what are the multi-steps to start a brand. Learn something every single day. Take about 15 to 30 minutes over the next 7 days to just get a general, hey there, Gregory, to just get a general overview, right, of some of the different areas inside of a brand or a business, so that you are aware. You guys know on this journey that I get you guys to walk on with us. Let's see if I can grab this without tearing up too much of what I got going on here, because I certainly didn't take this out before I got started. Is it on the front? Yeah, it's on the front. Let's do this. Along this journey that I talked to you guys about, one of the first things that we discuss up here is the awareness part. The awareness. In this awareness, I just need for you guys to be aware of what all it takes to possibly run your brand or your business, right? And I want you to take the opportunity to do that as your first action step. Now let's move on into your next mindset, number 2. I need for you guys to go from seeking permission to actually making some decisions, okay? So in your employee mindset, you literally had to wait for your boss to approve a decision. Hello? Oh, here we go. TikTok want me to do something about a flash goal. What are they asking me to do? Okay, guys, they're asking me to put up this targeted algorithm here. Y'all do whatever we need to do to get that to go away. All right. In this mind shift for number 2, what we're actually paying attention to is we're going to go from seeking permission from a boss to actually making decisions as the boss. All right. So when you were on the job, you had to seek permission. You had to get permission to do something. But here in the entrepreneurial space, you are the actual boss. You don't have to get permission from a boss. You need to get comfortable with making decisions, right? And I'm going to say about 70% of the permissions, they're going to fall on you, right? Because yes, while the marketplace determines the movements of your business, you have to make the decision with regards to your entrepreneurial journey. Waiting for 100% certainty is not the move. That's called procrastination. And I want you to rewrite that in your mind. And I want you to think persistence over procrastination. Be persistent about what it is you're trying to do. Some of the goals that you're trying to receive, some of the goals that you're trying to achieve, not the resolutions that you've already dropped, okay? Some of the goals that you're trying to achieve, right? Because it's a classic mistake that a lot of new speakers, a lot of new brands make when they sit around and go, oh, I want everything to be perfect before I move. No. To me, that drops you over into that avoid framework that we set up. And I want you guys to never be bogged down. That's why I asked you guys sometimes, go over to the YT channel, look at the playlist, type in avoid, and I want you to see the video that comes up that talks about the avoid framework, because a lot of entrepreneurs walk around in that framework, right? We have amateur communications. We have vague, hello, and we have misled value. We don't understand our value, our vision, or our voices. We have overwhelming manual tasks that we do. We have inconsistent follow-up operations, and we have disorganized client information. That's the avoid framework, and you're busy trying to get all that straight, which means you're busy doing nothing. Be persistent and overcoming all of those different areas, but don't stop the train from moving because you're trying to make it perfect first. Be persistent in overcoming all of the different levels that I've just talked about very briefly, very quickly, because I want you to go over there and watch it in full again and have your favorite pen and pad so you can take the notes. Be persistent in overcoming. Don't sit around and avoid the things that you need to do, okay? That's the reason why I'm going through that part rather quickly. The action step that I would love for you guys to take here in the second mind shift that you're having when you're actually going from seeking permission to making decisions is I want you to identify one small business decision that you've been putting off, something that you have been really just procrastinating with getting it done. Something as simple as buying your name as your domain. Something as simple as at least making your big me list, even if you're just doing the first 30 or first 10. If you are avoiding anything in your business, whatever that one small decision is, I need for you to press pause and get the dang thing done. Welcome back, Shawnee Shine. If you are currently not deciding which social media platform is going to be your main platform, make that decision. If you haven't purchased your domain yet, make that decision. You can go to domains.martinabrityelverton.com and purchase your domain. The reason I suggest you always purchase from my affiliate is because I'm going to help you through all of the steps that you need to actually capitalize and leverage that domain, okay? If you have a domain at other places, you can still use all the coaching and teaching and training. However, I can't log into that system and know that system well. So I actually ask that you use my link, log into my system, and I can walk you through every aspect of it, okay? Whatever that one thing that you have been avoiding, that's small, simple, something you can accomplish today. Like I say, buying your domain, making your big me list, choosing a social media platform that you're going to focus on. Make that decision by the end of this stream. If you could, you got about 40 minutes to make that decision, because again, done is better than perfect, because there truly is no such thing as perfection. That's only one is perfect. So why do that? Why strain yourself? All right. So that's number 2. The third mind shift that I want you to think about, and let me know if you're understanding where I'm coming from, if this is landing with you. If you have any questions, like I say, drop those questions or comments into the body and I'll have a look at them. I'll answer any branding or business questions that I'm available to answer. Remember, I'm the brand master. And if you want business structure questions, go to a business structure expert. That ain't me, but I'll tell you what I've gone through and I'll give you some of my journey to see if that's helpful to you. But definitely, if you have your branding questions, your personal branding questions specifically, you can drop those into the comments and I'll answer those. So just to recap before we move to number 3, number 1 was, if there is something that you currently have on your plate that you are fearful about with regards to leaving the job mindset and moving into the entrepreneurial mindset, let it go, because you do have to become a generalist in entrepreneurship, whereas you're coming from decades of specialty on your job. You have to shift. You have to become a generalist. You have to learn a little something about as much as you can about branding or business or whatever, so that you will be able to scale. And your step 1 action was to go to YouTube University this week, learn one thing a day, study it for about 30 minutes, just to give yourself a general idea of what that thing is. That was number 1. Number 2 was stop procrastinating. Go from seeking permission, which is what you had to do on your job, and move over here to making some decisions. And one of the decisions I'm asking you to make is choose a social media platform you're going to focus on. Maybe go by your domain, which is your name. Maybe make your big me list that you probably haven't done yet. You can actually look at the playlist on YouTube for that as well, to figure out what I'm referring to when I'm talking about the big me list. All right. Get those 2 things done. Let's move into number 3. You're used to a guaranteed as today's job can be, paycheck, to now you're having to work on performance-based income. This literally is one of the scariest ones, especially right now in the economy that we live in. The comfort of a bi-weekly, a weekly, and in some cases a monthly, income is gone when you fully move into the entrepreneurial space. Okay? Your income is now a direct reflection and result of your actions and activity. Do I need to say that louder for people in the back? Or y'all got it? Your income, your shmoney, your paper that folds, is a direct reflection and result of your activity and your actions. And that can be really, really scary. Why can it be scary? Because sometimes life be life, and yes, but sometimes we be weeing. Can I get a laugh track? I don't even know where my tracks are. I don't even know if I have those on here anymore. But if I could find them, I literally would have some soundtracks up, because that was sure enough funny to me. And I don't know where my laugh tracks are. But I agree, life be lifing. But we also be weeing. Do we or do we not? Let me see who I have in the room. Call some of y'all out. Kiva, do you be youing sometimes? Shawty Shine, do you be youing sometimes? One Love, Dr. Anna, do you be youing sometime? Or is life always just lifing? Tell me the truth. What they say, tell the truth and shame the devil? No, life don't always be lifing. Sometimes I just be mean. Okay? And when that happens, again, that is the actual, your income is the actual reflection or result of that inactivity. Thank you, Dr. Anna, for being transparent. I appreciate that. Because, sometimes people don't want to tell the truth. Sometimes we just be weeing. I just be me and you just be youing. And again, that's the reason that is a scary situation. Yeah, sometimes life be lifing, but sometimes it ain't all about life be lifing, right? Because this isn't necessarily about fear. Again, we're having mind shifts here. This is about empowerment. So you mean to tell me if I go ahead and accept that sometimes I be mean, that I can control the results? To an extent, yes. Consistency, persistence, your activity will now make that whole paycheck situation a lot less scary, right? Because you're in control. The more value you create, the more you can earn. Your income is directly connected to the amount of value that you deliver, because your gift will make room for you. We ain't gonna go all into a whole soliloquy, a whole sermon. Y'all don't have to pass the plate or nothing, but it's just the truth. So I would encourage you, as your action step for this number 3 mindset, is to actually track one simple metric this week. How many performance-based pieces of activity are you going to implement? Meaning, how many people did you talk to about your brand or your business? How many new people did you talk to about your brand or your business? How many new people did you talk to about your brand or your business that are not your friends, that are not your followers? Brand new people, okay? Because this is one of your first performance indicators, and it's not about sales yet. Remember, we are in awareness, okay? This is about activity. Let me give you a quick scenario before we move away from this, and I give you your action step. I remember when the onset of ChatGPT, I get so tongue-tied trying to say that sometimes I just named her Susan. I got a Susie and I got a Manny, okay? And I literally went from the excitement of putting all of me, because you know AI can't do it by itself. It needs you. By putting all of me into my Susan, a free platform. And it was popping me out stuff left and right. But it was generic stuff. And I literally had to say, Susan, here's my resume. Here's my skill set. Here's my value. Here are my SOPs. This is what I do for my clients. Here are their websites. Here are their brands. Go back and understand clearly what it is that I do. And now let's create me a 90-day plan. When I say the amount of refinement that it gave me, it allowed me to go live 5 days a week for nearly 9 solid months. And I was able to pour out onto my YouTube channel. If you go look, you'll see quarters 1, 2, and 3 of 2025, where I went through all of my systems and poured out with no chaos, no stress, no confusion, 5 days a week information about what it is that I do as a brand master, all free and all over on YouTube. That was some serious activity. You're talking about somebody enjoyed quarter 4 off. You would have thought that would have been the case. But now I took all of the data and inactivity of some of the people and realized I spent 9 months talking over y'all head. Pregnant pause for effect. So I had to go back and change my mind and say, it wasn't that it was talking over your heads. I'm techie. I'm detailed. I don't have time to try to explain this to y'all in 7 seconds, right? I literally had to say, hey there, Kevin, so good to see you. Welcome on back. You're a little ashy there. If you get an opportunity, put some lotion on, okay? I literally had to take all of the data from the 9 months of pouring out, having you guys understand what a brand is, what kind of branding systems that you guys need, because I knew I was gearing up to speak to the new stuck or struggling speaker. And I knew there were things that they were going to need, starting with the brand. And then I had to begin to learn some of the things that the speaker needed. All of this is about activity. So here we are in 2026. And I said, I'm not going to do that again. I'm literally going to take the opportunity to ask the market what they need. And I'm going to deliver that. Because when the situation presents itself, well, a person says, hey, well, I need a CRM. I can easily say, oh, yeah, if you go over to the YouTube channel and you actually go to the search bar that's available when you're on my page, right? There's a small search bar that you can type in CRM, and it will give you every training plus checklist that I've created for the individual who wants to know about a CRM. So it wasn't in vain. But the activity is now there so that when the question comes up, the answer, the solution resides there. But it's a whole lot easier if you just come into the community. And if you come into the community, you can search inside the community. You don't have to search an entire YouTube channel. Now, that's got to make sense. But all of that was more about making sure that as I put the content out, that I paid attention to the metrics because it was speaking to brand new people. The subscribers went up, yay. The comments, not so much, because I don't know what it is about YouTube. Unless you're doing something, I don't know, crazy on YouTube, people don't ask a whole lot on training videos. I don't quite understand that yet. But again, that's not my ministry. My ministry and what I was told was to put the information out there and to share my gift. And when people ask, give them the solution. Hello? But again, if you don't take the opportunity to create some sense of flow, some sense of activity, you're not going to have anything to measure, right? And it is going to reflect in your income. So again, number 3, dealt with, I need for you to start tracking at least one simple metric this week. How many people are you going to talk to about your business? How many new people? And how many new people that are not friends or family? Friends, family, or followers. Brand new people. Okay? And then finally, number 4. Go from avoiding looking at the data to actually paying attention to the data, embracing the data, really paying attention to what the data means so that you can know what to do. Okay? So on the corporate job, like, failure can actually get you fired. However, in entrepreneurship, failure is just data. The first 3 months were exciting. The second 3 months, when we were in quarter 2, we picked up the pace. We saw some activity. By the third quarter, I realized they have no idea what I'm talking about. So it wasn't failure. Literally, it was data. How else would I know that I'm talking above the heads of the people who need the brand unless I put the information out there and it fell on deaf ears? And when I asked the question, they were like, well, I don't really know what a CRM is. I don't know what pipelines are. Hell, I don't know what pipelines are. Okay? Why? Because I haven't tracked that data. But I was able to go through, see where it was, understand how to use it, tell you all how it's supposed to be used, and begin to use it. That's data. That's not failure. It's feedback. Now you know, right? So if you go through putting all that effort and you see it as a failed launch, that tells you it's your messaging. Clients are saying no to the pricing because they don't understand the value. Not because it's not valuable, but because they don't understand the value. Let me help you with that a little bit further. If you take the opportunity to put yourself out there this week, because that's your action step, and I want you to try to get a no. Put yourself, Put your information, talk to some people. And I don't mean get in their face and just try to sell them. I mean, just talk about what it is that you love to do. Remember that big me list? Remember those 30 things that you have on that list? I want you to look at that list, and I just want you to begin to talk to different people about what it is that you love to do and absorb the data. Gather the data. Okay, listen for the confusion, listen for the no's. Okay, listen for that, because when they say no, it should not break you. Your next question should be, well, is there a better way that I could explain this? Why does this not land? Why isn't this making sense for you? Like, ask questions, because you could just be using CRM when they need to know a list of emails. Did anybody see that transition? You're using the words CRM when you should be saying a list of emails. It could be that easy, because if you're talking over their heads and they don't understand it, they don't know why they need it. Does that make sense? So as your fourth activity, going from avoiding failure to embracing the data, is get used to the no. Because did you all know there's a percentage out here? I think they say like 100% of 100% of the people that register, only 20 will show up. It's like a 20 or less percentage ratio, and even less than that convert. So if you have 100 people that show up for a webinar, 100 people that register for a webinar, more than likely only 20% will show up. And of the 20% that show up, only 1 or 0.2 sometimes will buy. If you know those percentages ahead of time, number one, you're not disappointed when you see 100 registrations, because in your mind, you already know that means 20 people may be on the live, and of the 20 people, I may sell 1. Because the show up rate is 20%, but the conversion rate is 1%. Did anybody see how I did that math in public? Because normally we don't do math in public. Okay? So what I need for you guys to pay attention to is these are the shifts that you need to take to go from being a specialist in what you're used to working on a job to a generalist in what you need to learn as an entrepreneur. I need you to go from being a permission seeker, which is what you're used to on your job, to a decision maker and what you must be as an entrepreneur. And then I need you to realize that your actual activity is tied to your paycheck, meaning your performance data as an entrepreneur, right? And I need for you to understand, stop looking at failure as failure. Pay attention to it as data on things you need to tweak to make yourself a stronger brand, a stronger business owner, a better speaker, right? All of those things so that you can grow and scale. And all of this starts with your mindset. Before you ever begin to build a brand, before you ever begin to set up systems, before you start speaking on stages and things like that, whether it's online stages or whether it's physical stages in person, all of these things are mindset shifts that you need to have as you transition from being in a job, a W-2 worker, to now being the boss, or now being over into this entrepreneurial realm as a speaker. There's a mind shift that needs to happen. And of course, I say it all the time. If you're ready to make this shift, come into the community, walk this journey along other founding members inside of our community, and walk the speaker realm together with us, right? I'd love for you to come and join us in the community to learn more. Again, if you have questions, ask those questions. Hey there, Midlife Magic. So good to see you. Pause and Heavenly. And it's so funny. Now that I start watching this content creator, his name is Lionheart. I think his name is Devin. They have a actual doggy daycare. And I watch that doggy daycare generally for, I get stuck sometimes longer than 30 minutes during the day while I'm doing different things after I get off of our, I call them mentorship lives from Mac Enterprises, usually between 8 and 11 in the morning. Sometime in there, he'll go live and I'll watch that and I'll have my notes and I'll be taking my notes. And then for some reason, after every single live, I end up being thrown over into the live of the doggy daycare. And I watch these doggies. Hey there, Kurt, how was my day? Let me tell you. My day has been amazing, packed and full, and nobody has asked me that question. So thank you so much for that. I hope your day was well as well. But I end up being thrown over into this doggy daycare live from Lionheart. His name is Devin. And I'd be doggone if now I don't see 3 different algorithm shifts that have happened to my timeline or my streamline or whatever you call this TikTok FYP. I see puppies everywhere, and because I love to do puzzles, I see puzzles everywhere. Okay, and I'm telling you, it is blowing my mind how this algorithm has shifted and how my timeline now automatically show up and show me puppies now. It is blowing my mind. How was your day? Okay, you said happy to hear that. Thank you. I appreciate that. God is beautiful in me and DNA is real. I appreciate my mom and my dad. I hope you're not upset. He said, no, go right ahead. No, tell me what God done. Appreciate it because I think he did pretty good too. So for me, it's so funny now that I feel like since whatever is going on here with TikTok, whatever TikTok got going on with people's coins and their gifts and the battles and everything going on this platform, my algorithm now is so completely jacked up. And I just think it's funny that I just saw, let's see if I can see that. I think it said pause. Who was it that came in just a moment ago? Let me see if I can find it again. Hey there, Travell. Let's see if I can find it again. Not Midlife Magic. There it is. Pause in Heavenly. I don't know what the rest of that says. But that is so funny now. Now I see people from doggy whatever, daycares, all kinds of stuff coming up on my timeline now. So now I don't know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go clear my search. I think Heather says clear your search, check your followers, clear all that out. So it can go back to being what it was, so I can see, the good information, and so that I can follow you guys. But as I get ready to close out, hey, Forever Glow Up, so good to see you. You a little ashy too. You ain't been in here in a minute. It's okay, get some lotion, girl. And it's funny because I didn't know what that meant for the longest time. But now that I've been on here TikTok since October, I know what that means. It just means we haven't seen each other in a while. And I know 6 p.m. during the week on a Wednesday is not the greatest time. 6 p.m. on a Sunday is also not the greatest time. Because if you're not going to a Sunday evening service, you are with your family and friends. And then on Wednesday is Hump Day Wednesday. Y'all exhausted trying to get on the Thursday and Friday and get this week over. And you may not be available to get on at this time. So hey, I understand. It's okay. Love y'all. Hey there, Crystal. Thank you so much for your daily heart me. I appreciate it. I understand 6 o'clock is not the greatest time. So I appreciate when you guys are available to come into the stream, that you do, get your daily heart meets, that you do things like share it and tap and all of that. I appreciate it. But as I said, what I started doing, because I know 6 p.m. is not the greatest time, what I started doing was taking all of my lives when I'm at 6 p.m. on Sundays and 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, is now I take them and I go load them as long form content over on my channel. So they show up in the community. I put them in the community as well, but beyond putting them in the community on the Setup Sunday playlist and the Watch Me Work Wednesday playlist, I take them out of my community and I also put them over on my YT channel. And so now when you go over to YT, it's the same as here, my name, BrandMaster Martina Britt Yelverton. When you go over there on YT, I make sure it's the first playlist that you see. So now you can watch the long form TikToks over there. Hey, because I thought that was so annoying once I finally figured it out. So you mean we spend all this time together? We sit here and we go through all this talking, and I give you guys the checklist and I talk to you guys about all the journey, of getting your personal brand together and how to get your assets in order. And I give you access to the downloadable checklist. We go through all of that and then it disappears off TikTok. I had no clue. I said, wait a minute. I just spent all that time pouring into the people and it disappears and they don't know anything about it if they didn't happen to come into the community. So if they didn't come into the community and you guys are busy at 6 p.m. during the week and on the weekends, how else are you supposed to know? I thought it was kind of smart too, Crystal, because the first thing I thought it was going to do, honestly, I thought that it was going to not allow me, because sometimes you know how on TikTok, hey there, Landria, hey girl, thank you for your daily heart meet. I thought because sometimes, like, I have Smokey Robinson playing in the background, so you know I knew when I put it over there on YT, I was going to get strikes. Girl, no girl. Let me show y'all. I think I'll put this up here real quick. And then we're going to head on out because we are right before the 7 o'clock hour. So I'm going to pull up my YT channel and show you real quick. Have mercy. Pray with me. We're going to see what this thing do. All right. Now let me flip this around. I was like, what? I didn't know I could do that. All right. And flip the camera. Boom. There we go. So now when you come to the channel, the first thing you see, I have it right here. TikTok Live replays. And girl, not a single strike. So there we are for the week. Set up Sundays, watch me work Wednesdays. I'll have them listed. I say, hallelujah, thank you, Lord. So now I don't have to worry about you guys missing out on the content. Ain't that a beautiful thing? Won't he do it? So when you guys get an opportunity, I hope this thing ain't twisting and clicking and moving on in y'all ears. I hope that's not too bad. I think any creator that is teaching here should upload. Let me pin that and make that louder for the people in the back. Guys, seriously, thank you for the repost on Landry. I appreciate you. Guys, let me tell you, if you were taking the opportunity to be on this platform, if you're answering questions, if you guys have questions, please make sure you're asking. If you're taking the opportunity to be on this platform and you're spending all this time on this platform, literally, once your live goes away, it's gone. I was clueless. I was upset. And then someone said, you know, you can download them. Oh, you can you? There you go. Download them and go upload them on another platform. Hey, I'm going to tell you now, don't upload them on Facebook, because you know after 30 days, all your content, especially your videos, disappears off Facebook, which is why I promote having your own community. So all you guys that got excited about having groups over on Facebook, about putting your content over on Facebook, it disappears after 30 days. So you know if you go to scrolling your timeline and you see those blank, that's where all your videos used to be. Hello? Right. Anyway, but inside of your own communities, I talked to you about that inside of my community, inside of your own communities, and you can come into my community for free and become a founding member. Inside of your communities, you can put your content in there and it doesn't disappear and you own it. Hello. Thank you. So, yes, I thought that was a really good idea to start putting my content over on the YouTube channel. So that way, not only am I building my community here, am I serving you guys each and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and each and every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get an opportunity to come into the community there. There are downloads and checklists and training that's available yet there. I show you how I repurpose my short form content here across multiple platforms, right? And utilize multiple platforms and content reposting so that I can be in more than one place. And I tell you, please just work with one. So right now, the only place I go live is here, but I post it across the other platforms. So those people who follow you on multiple platforms, just let them know. Join me 6 p.m. on Wednesdays and Sundays here on TikTok if you want to ask your questions or leave your comments below the YouTube videos, because I also answer in YouTube. Very seldom, even though I use one tool to actually respond on all my platforms, very seldom do I leave a lot of comments on the other platforms. And I got to get better on YouTube. I got to get better on LinkedIn. I really do. I've got to get better on LinkedIn because it is the most professional platforms, and that's where a lot of speakers are. So I will be getting better on LinkedIn, especially since I'm the brand strategist for Global Speakers University, and I am actually doing their complete rebranding. They're going to be focused eventually off of Facebook and more on LinkedIn. So yes, as your brand strategist, I have to go and learn LinkedIn now. Yes. I'll get happy about it at some point. Okay. But again, when you know your audience, when you know the platform that your audience is on, if you are truly interested in serving your audience, then you get your hind parts to where your audience is so that you can serve them, so your gift will make room for you. But as we close out, I don't see any questions coming in. I appreciate you guys popping in and joining me on today. I really appreciate it. I have to actually go and check my email because I know that I am smack dab in the middle of utilizing a new AI system that I'm behind on getting that set up. And one of the reasons I'm really focused on getting things moving with that AI software is because I have a couple of my Gen X clients, especially with the 5th annual and the final 5th annual Hayes Foundation golf tournament that's coming up. This is their commemorative year, and that's coming up in May, and I would like to be able to case study a little bit of AI on their platform. Because that's coming up, I want to go ahead and get this particular AI app working for me so I can case study it on a couple of other options. And I, for some reason, think there is a Wednesday night call, even though I'm looking at both my calendars and neither of my calendars say there is an AI call tonight. So I think that's quite interesting because I know there was one the first week we got it, but nope, I'm looking at both my calendars and I do not see an AI call. Okay, well, that means I have space to work on it. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for your time on tonight. We have discussed everything that I knew that we were going to discuss on tonight. So let me see what we have coming up for Sunday, and I can help you guys get prepared for that. So here we are, Sunday, February the 8th. We are talking about the power of the 90-day plan. Set and achieve your first speaking goals. So, I am interested to see how I'm going to actually lay the foundation from you developing that big me list and you narrowing down that big me list and you completing your unique genius worksheet that we discussed 2 weeks ago to last week when we began to discuss your mindset and how to pivot, right, and to become aligned, accountable, and accessible. To today we discussed 4 different areas of your mindset that you need to shift from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset to now some things that you need to focus on when it's time for you to now start setting your speaking goals. So we ain't jumping on the stage this Sunday, but I need for you to begin your next list with regards to setting your speaking goals. So if you're excited about that, you can definitely go ahead and register. I'll be sure to put the registration link up here on TikTok this time, and I would love to have you guys join us on this upcoming Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll catch you guys on the very next one. Thank you for your time on tonight. I appreciate it.